The need for comprehensive immigration reform is real, and it is an issue that can no longer be ignored.
Nationwide rhetoric on immigration has Idaho ag leaders reaching out to tell the true story of how important foreign-born labor is to Idaho agriculture. Braden Jensen of the Idaho Farm Bureau says our national priorities for visa programs allowing year-round guests has so far shortchanged our basic human needs.
I personally find it interesting that there are visa programs for students, for scientists, for performers, and for many other interests. However, there are still no year-round visa programs for our most basic needs: our food, our fiber, and our fuel.
Jensen joined Idaho dairy industry spokesman Bob Nairbout at a press conference to promote the importance of getting something done to secure long-term the foreign-born labor needed to keep the economic engine of Idaho agriculture running.
So I want to bring it down to what it means to the dairy industry. But first you have to understand what the dairy industry means to the state of Idaho. That the dairy industry in Idaho has 10.4 million in total gross sales. The dairy industry in Idaho contributes 3.5 billion to Idaho's gross domestic product. The dairy industry in domestic and foreign exports is worth 4.2 billion. And really the economic vitality of rural Idaho stands on the shoulders of foreign-born labor.
Nairbout says a pathway to legal status for workers is a must.
If you look at USDA or Department of Labor studies, they'll estimate between 40 and 70% of all the labor in agriculture across this country, so that includes Idaho, isn't here with proper documentation. That's a huge number. Legal status is not amnesty. Legal status is not a pathway to citizenship. It's only saying this is a legal status, that this person's here, he is working for this individual, and he needs and has the right to have that legal status. We need the employees. Let's face some facts that they're here, and the best way to provide security is to provide them legal status.
Pastor Mark Schlegel-Preheim spoke to the misguided fears of immigrants, saying it's time to move forward with policy based on love and care.
Is that so much of the fear that is around immigration reform is economic fear, fear of loss of jobs, fear of that the economic system is being unduly burdened by immigrants. But what my colleagues have shared is, of course, that is not true. That our immigrant families, our immigrant brothers and sisters are contributing to the economy, that they're providing jobs, that they're filling jobs that are necessary and needed. We can create policy that's based out of love and care because it is a positive economic impact. That many of those fears that we have and that we speak about in our political rhetoric are not true fears. They're true fears in that it's a legitimate fear to be fearful about our economic well-being, to be fearful about having enough jobs, but that our immigrant families and our immigrant brothers and sisters, they are helping to meet those needs and provide more jobs, that they're paying taxes, that they're not an undue burden on our support system.
Nairbout and the dairymen are leading an effort to challenge Idaho's congressional delegation to get the ball rolling in Washington.
We should be challenging our delegation members, and we're trying to do that with a petition we have online at idahodairymen.org. that it's time for immigration reform now. But Idaho, a small state, can play a big role in immigration reform, and we should be playing that role.
With the Idaho Farm Bureau, the voice of Idaho agriculture, I'm Steve Ritter.